We are back with new viewer-submitted random shapes to test my building creativity to the max. Who knows what's in store for us this time? Greetings friends, Khaios here. Last week I released a video where I built within random shapes that were sent to me by some of my amazing supporters on Patreon and YouTube members on my private Discord server. You all seemed to enjoy that video and there were a lot of comments requesting a series out of it. So today I'm back with part 2. But before I get into that, I wanted to remind you that there are only a few days left to order your Khaios plushie. We have to reach the minimum funding goal of 200 sales in order to get them produced, and I think we could still do that. They really are top-notch quality, and it would go a huge way to helping support the channel. So if you're interested in ordering one, now's the time. Now, for today's build, we're going to be taking a look at the random shapes sent to me by HoneyButter9. Just like last week, if you would like to try this challenge for yourself, the world download to the unaltered random shapes will be available in the description of this video. Feel free to share your builds with me on Twitter, the subreddit, or if you're on the Patron Discord server, post them there. I can't wait to see what's waiting for us, so let's hop right into the world. Well, straight off, this is very different to what we had last week, yet there are some similarities with these roundish blobs floating in the build. The rectangular shapes along the edges make me think I'm going to be building some structures in today's build. I'm not quite sure what to do with the blobs yet, especially that giant one in the middle. So let me take a few minutes to stare at this masterpiece and see what comes to mind, then we'll kick off the first time lapse. After giving it some thought, I think that the roundish blobs look like they could be some slimes. There are rounded segments attached to the rectangles as well, and it almost looks like there could be extra large slimes attacking a couple of structures. And so I've decided that this is going to be an overly dramatic, massive-sized slime rain event that is devastating a small town. I start off the build using slime block to make the blobs into slime. For the ones attached to the buildings, I thought it might be fun to make them look like they were oozing their way in, dissolving the structure's materials, so I tried to get a few drip streaks underneath the slimes. I left the massive blob in the middle untouched because it doesn't really fit the shape I'd like for a slime, and to be perfectly honest, I'm still not even sure what I'm going to do with that beast yet. But for now, with the smaller blobs turned into slime, I color them with various paints and I shape them with the hammer. So far, I am quite happy with how the slimes have turned out. And I think I know exactly what kind of style I'm going to be doing for these structures over here on the sides. I still have no idea what I want to do with this just yet, but I'm also not quite happy with this slime in particular. It's a little too symmetrical, and I could do things like I did with these ones and have some slime drooping off of it, but since it's not actually going into another shape like these ones are, I feel like that would go against the vibe of this challenge, right? So I've got to think about what exactly I want to do there. While I think about this slime and these shapes, I'm going to start doing the buildings that the slime rain is attacking and do some landscaping here as well, because I'm not a huge fan of just having a perfectly flat land here, and that is not against the challenge whatsoever. For the structures, after making a foundation with white painted green slab wall, ashwood wall, and brown painted shadewood fence, I started with floors made out of stone slab, accent slab, and some brown painted ashwood. Getting these random shapes to look like structures that make sense seemed a bit of a challenge at first, with all of these small rectangular shapes that cut into the side or were sticking out from the sides of the larger rectangles. But then it occurred to me that I could make those areas parts of the buildings that have been damaged from the slime rain. So I went with a blend of gray painted green brick, gray brick, and a stone block for the stone tower on the left, while the wood room has brown painted ash wood and a spooky wood. The wooden room's background walls are a blend of wood wall, ebon wood wall, and ebon wood fence, all of which have been painted brown. The tower's walls are blue and pink tile wall with gray paint, using green slab wall, ebon stone wall, and ash wood, as well as large bamboo for accents. Wrought iron fence aligned with ebon stone walls makes up the windows. Then where the damage was done to the buildings, I used craggy stone wall, hellstone wall, ashwood fence, and living leaf wall, painted either brown or gray wherever they were applied, and those were used to roughen up the areas and make them look like they're torn apart. With the building on the left done, I swung over to the right side of the map and followed the same formula. To get the room to work with the random shape that Honeybutter gave me, I decided to fracture the second floor and make it look like it was collapsing, while also making the large slime on the roof look like it was breaking in and grabbing a segment of that rooftop. As for the roof, I decided to go with gray painted copper and tin plating over the wooden room, with stone slab and accent slab over the tower. So far, I'm pretty happy with how everything is coming together. However, if you see here, I've got a couple of building pallets set up because I kind of want to test something. All of these slimes are just made with normal slime block, and I'm not sure that's a great idea. The colors are okay, but I think using various different slime blocks gives for better coloration, so I might do those. But I also kind of want to try out some silly balloon because they're going to look a little bit more droopy whenever they're hanging downwards like so. So it'll look a little bit more gelatinous, I guess, liquidy, and I'm going to mess around with those. They'll be a little bit more smooth, a little bit more round, and I feel like it might fit the slime motif a bit better. In addition to that, I know what I'm going to be doing here. This shape, I was thinking about it the entire time I was building. It looks like a balloon to me. And my thought went to, well, if they're fighting a slime rain, maybe they're going to be using hot air balloons. So I'm going to try to build a hot air balloon right here with a small platform here with like a cannon on it or something. And then do the same sort of thing over here. This slime will be holding onto a platform with a hot air balloon that's being squished by another slime. You're just gonna have to picture this. It's gonna be hard to see. So this will be like the balloon, but it's been popped. This will be a slime that's hanging onto it. And the slime's also hanging onto another larger platform over here with another bigger slime, and then I'll add a hot air balloon up here that's still holding that platform up. And that way they look like little floating battle platforms. So for now, I'm going to try to switch all of these to Silly Balloon if I like them, or if I don't like them, switch them to these slime blocks, and then work on the balloons and see how it goes. I'm on the fence with these slimes. I like the texture of the various slime blocks for them, which isn't as present with the Silly Balloon, but I love the shape of the Silly Balloon blocks for the slimes. After tossing the idea for a while, I think I like the shape of the Silly Balloon more than I like the texture of the various slime blocks, but let me know in the comments what you think. I've built a few hot air balloons and airships in the past, but I wanted to try something a little bit different with this design to challenge myself a bit more, so I alternated between slime block and frozen slime block with cloud walls filling in the gaps, all of which were painted brown. I tried to give this balloon a bit of a design and an interesting pattern within it. And now for the monstrosity shape. I think that taking that one singular shape and giving it 3 or 4 different builds within the area was a good idea. I couldn't think of any one creature or object that would fit this shape alone outside of an amoeba or a cloud or something like that, and it would feel kind of boring to just have a random cloud floating in the air there. So I'm really pleased with the collapsed balloon idea and having the large blue slime clinging onto it. I even decided to slap a golden crown on top of it to give him a promotion. The large platform was going to need a much larger balloon, as it's essentially carrying two slimes. Yes, I know that the large balloon wasn't a part of the original random shapes, but in this challenge I am allowing myself to build additional structures and objects outside of the shapes, so long as the random shapes remain the primary focus and are largely identifiable in the build, which I do think this accomplishes. Things are starting to come together pretty nicely. It's messy, it's crazy, but I mean, that's what you expect with random shaped builds, right? All that's left for me to do is start adding the decorative bits like cannons, furniture, maybe some mannequins. We'll put stuff inside of the buildings. I want to plant some trees and bushes and make the terrain look nice as well. But the next time you guys see this build, it will be done. And here we are with the final version of the second random shaped builds. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it, and I really enjoy this build challenge series, so we're definitely going to be doing more of them on the channel. In fact, I might even have one out tomorrow. We'll see. But all in all, I'm quite happy with this build, and I hope you all are too. If you enjoy this content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget that we only have a few days left to try and make the 200 plushie sales. I want to give a huge thank you to my biggest supporters for the month: Hypic3, Sarcasm Not Intended, and Vault-Tec Rep 77. And be sure to check out my channel artist, MythicalWater, linked in the description below. Thank you all very much for watching. Be back soon with a new video.